one of the all-time bonehead plays in the history of sports. Oh, where do we even begin? Emari Demercado, come on down. This is a first ballot bonehead Hall of Famer. Oh my God, how do you even come back from this? And we have seen this happen before. There are other offenders out there. I said it then, I'll say it again now. They should have cut his. If I ran the Arizona Cardinals, he'd already be gone. He can be somebody else's problem. One of the all-time bonehead plays in the history of sports. And I do mean this is a first ballot bonehead Hall of Famer, instant induction. We're waiving the 5-year waiting period for Emari Demercado of the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, where do we even begin? My goodness. Arizona Cardinals leading the Tennessee Titans, the lowly Tennessee Titans, at home 21-6 in the fourth quarter when running back Emari Demercado, who has been called into duty due to injuries at the running back position, goes 71 yards, but he needed to go 72 for the touchdown. There you see it, slowing down inside the 5-yard line and letting go of the football voluntarily before he had crossed the plane with possession. And we have seen this happen before. There are other offenders out there. Deshaun Jackson comes to mind, who P.A. Jared said is the OG of dropping the ball voluntarily before you go into the end zone. But this right here, oh my God, how do you even come back from this? This is a guy with 3 career touchdowns in the NFL. Awfully cocky for a guy who has barely seen the end zone as a professional and who is getting an opportunity due to injuries in Arizona. After the game, Demercado saying, "I just made a mistake. Really no excuse. Emotional, big play, but I just got to be smarter." You fucking think? You got to be smart? You got one job. They're up 21-6 at home against the fucking Titans. Maybe the worst team in the league. That touchdown puts them up 28-6 with an extra point with just over 12 minutes to play. That cost them the game. I will beg to differ with Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon, whose quote to the media after the game was, "It's never about just one play." Sometimes it is. Because there's no way that you can tell me if he makes the decision to hold on to the fucking ball until he's in the end zone, the Cardinals win that game. There's no doubt about it. A 3+ touchdown lead that late in the game. I think there's only been one team who has blown that in years. The record's something like 1,200 and something and one when teams have that much of a lead. Instead, it goes out of the end zone for a touchback, and it allows the Titans to hang around, and they come back and they win the game. Absolutely inexcusable. I think that they should cut him. I would cut his ass. And he might be the nicest kid in the world. He may be a quality young running back. I would cut him. Because what kind of culture do you want around your team? It's like Tyreek Stevenson here in Chicago. Remember the Hail Mary last year? Before the Bears season went completely to shit, they had a winning record, and they were about ready to add to it with a win over Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders on the road, no less. And we know how good the Commanders ended up being. They damn near went to the Super Bowl. And Tyreek Stevenson blows the play for the Bears, allows the Hail Mary to connect by taunting the crowd and not even realizing that the play had started. I said it then, I'll say it again now, they should have cut his ass. Because Emari Demercado, like it or not, for the rest of his career, he's the guy who did that. And he's a walking reminder of this game. Every time that you see him walking around the facilities, every time you see him at practice, if you're a teammate, what does he bring to your mind? The fact that you play for a fucked up organization and you blew a sure thing. I got to tell you, so with that said, I'm angry about this. I'm not even a Cardinals fan. I'm just angry on behalf of everybody who takes their profession seriously, who takes football seriously. Did you ever see Jim Brown do such a thing? Did you ever see Walter Payton do such a thing? Can you imagine Earl Campbell doing that? Can you imagine Tony Dorsett or Eric Dickerson doing something like that? Did you ever see them quit on a play voluntarily? You can't even be bothered to go the extra yard to get into the fucking end zone. And all I can figure is you're just trying to look cool. Is that what it is? What's the benefit of it? Because the only one I can think of is that you think you're going to score some style points, and instead you've made yourself a laughingstock. And I hate to say it, he may be a good kid, but he deserves every bit of criticism that he's going to get for this. And he's lucky to still have a job. Because if I ran the Arizona Cardinals, he'd already be gone. And does he deserve a second chance in the NFL and all of this? Yeah, of course. Somebody else, he can be somebody else's problem. Somebody else can sign him and be the redemption team. But you've soured the well in Arizona, if I have anything to say about it. So it got me thinking about some of the biggest other bonehead plays in sports history. We're going to do a gimme 5 here of bonehead plays. Emari Demercado, come on down. It's gimme 5. Got 6 today with Mr. Demercado. Let's start with, in my opinion, the gold standard of boneheaded NFL plays. And this one is funny. And this one, at least, is born out of confusion rather than arrogance or just attempting to celebrate and place style points over substance. The great Jim Marshall, Minnesota Vikings, Purple People Eaters. I know that most of you of my age certainly are aware of what a fine player Jim Marshall was, a great defensive lineman. On October 25th, 1964, in San Francisco, Jim Marshall recovered a fumble, got confused, and ran 66 yards the wrong way for a safety. It celebrated when he got there until a San Francisco 49ers player, some of you have seen the footage, we can't show it, but some of you have seen the footage, a 49ers player comes up and pats him on the head. And Jim had no idea what he had done. He thought he had scored a touchdown. He was just like every kid who's ever played pin the tail on the donkey. He got spun around a few times and, he had that defensive lineman moment of, holy shit, I've got the ball, which probably short circuits their central nervous system anyway. So shout out to Jim Marshall. One good thing for Jim Marshall is that the Minnesota Vikings won that game anyway. So he didn't cost them the fucking game, regardless of what Jonathan Gannon says. Everybody knows that Emari Demercado cost the Cardinals that game. Here's a guy who certainly earned his way into the Bonehead Hall of Fame, Leon Lett. Speaking of defensive linemen of the Dallas Cowboys, and there he is, the famous play where he starts celebrating as he's about to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl, but he didn't count on Don Beebe being the all-effort, all-time hustle team, chasing him down from behind, and as Leon Lett was dangling the ball low and celebrating preemptively, Don Beebe knocks it through the back of the end zone. But 1993 was not a great year for Leon Lett, because you could argue that a bigger mistake that Leon Lett made in 1993 came on Thanksgiving in Dallas against the Miami Dolphins in the snow. Ronnie T-shirts, this was the Keith Byers Snow Angel game. I know that you remember that one.
Yep.
Go Buckeyes. And Leon Lett, Pete Stoyanovich, kicking a 41-yard field goal, gets blocked by the Cowboys, ends up spinning around on the field. All the Cowboys had to do was not touch it. That was all they had to do. Just don't touch the ball, and the game's over. But while the ball is moving, Leon Lett jumps on it. It squirts away from him, gets recovered by a dolphin at the 1-yard line, Ron. Pete Stoyanovich kicks a 19-yard field goal on his second effort, and Don Shula and the Dolphins beat the Cowboys in Dallas on Thanksgiving. Leon Lett. Double whammy. Other sports, however, it's not just football. I don't want to just pick on the gridiron guys here for boneheadedness. Here's one that I saw in person, in fact, back in 2009 at Wrigley Field. Minnesota Twins against the Chicago Cubs. I'm seated down the right field line. Milton Bradley. Remember Milton Bradley? Milton Bradley, who had an interesting career. He was a good player. He had some issues, temper problems, and so forth. His boneheadedness actually comes on a very generous thing that Milton attempted to do. He caught the third out of the inning, turned around, and tossed the ball into the bleachers so that some lucky fan could have a souvenir. The only problem, it was the second out of the inning. And I will never forget the moment where he turned around casually and held the ball up to throw it. And if you can imagine what it's like for 35,000 people to all go, oh, at the same time, we saw it coming. Oh no. And I can remember the Twins had a runner on base. I think he went all the way from first to third on the play. It ended up, the Cubs got out of the inning. They got the third out. The Twins didn't score because of it. But that is probably the biggest bonehead play that I've ever paid a ticket to see occur in person. Millions and millions and millions will remember the next one because it occurred in the 1993 NCAA championship game. The Fab Five against Dean Smith's North Carolina Tar Heels. The phantom timeout. Chris Webber calling a timeout that Michigan simply did not have. And I can remember watching that. I was pulling for Michigan that night. I always pull against whoever's playing North Carolina or Duke. When North Carolina plays Duke, I just tune it out. I hope for a tie. Chris Webber, mental mistake. And I'm going through mental mistakes. Mistakes of overconfidence. Mistakes of not thinking. You might be saying, well, where's Bill Buckner? Well, Bill Buckner made a physical error. Where's Jose Canseco with the ball bouncing off of his head? He made a physical error. Some physical errors are funny. Some physical errors are historically significant, as in the case of Bill Buckner. But I'm talking about mistakes of the mind. You know, Bill Buckner tried to do the right thing. The ball just went between his legs. It was a physical error. You can fault the guy for that, but I don't think you can fault somebody in the same way as just being locked in. Screw your head on face forward is the situation. And maybe the most bizarre one ever. Curtis Strange. I had Curtis Strange on my old podcast. And I said to him as we discussed this, Curtis was calling the Open Championship on ABC in 1999 when Jean Van de Velde, the Frenchman, walked to the 18th tee at Carnoustie with a 3-shot lead, needing only a double bogey to take home the claret jug. And about 5 minutes later, this was the scene. And boy, have things gone sideways when you see that. Of all the things that you wouldn't want to have happen when you're leading a major championship by 3 strokes going to the 18th hole, is this. Ronnie T-Shirts could have taken his 7-iron and putter out there and had a fighting chance to make a 6 at 18 at Carnoustie that day. And Curtis, as I was interviewing him, I said, Curtis, you said that was the dumbest thing, stupidest thing that you've ever seen on a golf course. And Curtis corrected me and said, well, actually, I said it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Golf or not. Unbelievable. It was a train wreck in slow motion. It was surreal. Van de Velde ended up making a clutch putt for a triple bogey, went into a playoff with Justin Leonard and Paul Lawrie of Scotland, and Paul Lawrie ended up winning his only major championship. Thanks. Really, he should send, I hope he sends a Christmas card to Jean Van de Velde every year because he got gifted the British Open that season. So congratulations, Emari Demercado. You are not the only one who has fucked up royally, but you now stand aside some of the giants in the history of boneheaded plays. In other news, I made a tweet this weekend that has been blowing up on X. I think they're telling me it's got somewhere in the neighborhood of 6.7 million views or something like that. And it was a simple thought and a simple tweet. Sometimes you don't know which ones are going to blow up. If I knew how to press the button and make all of them get that much attention, I'd probably do it. But this is the one that resonated with people. Josh Gordon, remember him? Very talented wide receiver who had an unbelievable year with the Cleveland Browns. I don't know if it was, I think it was 2013, something like that. You guys can fact check me on this. Somewhere in that era. And I tweeted out, Josh Gordon ran into problems because he kept testing positive for marijuana. And looking at the world that we live in today, just as the Pete Rose saga looks a little bit different in the world of FanDuel and DraftKings and betting ads everywhere, all over stadiums and ballparks, and all of the leagues obviously have very lucrative partnerships with them. The whole Pete Rose thing looks a little bit different. I think the Josh Gordon thing, and Ricky Williams for that matter, who I have also tweeted about. Josh Gordon basically had his career ruined because he kept testing positive for marijuana. Later on, there may have been some other issues there as well, but marijuana was the initial roadblock for him in the league, and he had repeated problems with it. This coming from a league, we've had Brett Favre on this show twice, and we've heard Brett Favre talk about the problems that he has had with concussions. Thinking that he had had 3 or 4 concussions during his career, but finding out that he may have had thousands after talking to experts, and Brett now sadly dealing with Parkinson's. And it's pretty easy to make the connection between the Parkinson's and the repeated blows to the head, just as we make that connection with Muhammad Ali, among others. This is a league where CTE, we know that it's real. They didn't change the kickoff for nothing. So the NFL is hazardous for your health. You want to, you can't have marijuana in your system because we want you to go out there, absolutely clean so that we can rearrange your brain cells. And it's okay. Look, I enjoy it as entertainment. I enjoy boxing. I enjoy MMA. I'm a heterosexual man. I like seeing violence sometimes in my sports. But having said that, let's be real about what the league is. It is a dangerous, dangerous league. And playing on a kickoff team or a punt team, historically, is probably more dangerous to your health, more hazardous to your health than alcohol, and certainly more hazardous to your health than marijuana. And by the way, how many beer commercials are you going to see in a Sunday of sitting down and watching 2 or 3 NFL games? You better have your calculator handy. And that was all right. Go get drunk on the weekends. Well, we don't care about that, but marijuana is the problem. And as an outspoken cannabis activist, I'm here to tell you, both Josh Gordon and Ricky Williams and anybody else who got suspended for smoking pot got absolutely fucked over by one of the biggest double standards ever in American society. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that marijuana is good for you, but I will sit here and tell you that it's better for you than alcohol. If you're going to use one or the other exclusively, I would suggest for your health, I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. But I'm confident enough to know that marijuana has more benefits than alcohol has for you. And maybe the world is starting to catch up to that now. Josh Gordon never should have lost his job, never should have been suspended for smoking weed. And speaking of people who shouldn't have lost their jobs, how about this sweet bastard? Who's going to stand up and speak out for this man as well? This tweet should have 6.7 million views too, as far as I'm concerned. Mayor McCheese, can we get this motherfucker back on the roster? What the fuck did he ever do wrong to run afoul of people's delicate sensibilities? Look at that hat. You think he's not a talented man? Good luck keeping a top hat on your head when your head is a burger bun. Damn it. That's what I have to say. I miss Mayor McCheese. I miss, who was the Officer Big Mac was another one as well. But let me bring in a man now who, well, he's had a few Big Macs and cheeseburgers in his life, as have I. I speak, of course, of the always sexy, international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He is Ronnie T-Shirts. And Ronnie, where do you come down on Emari Demercado's boner? If we want to call it that. I'm saying that I would have cut him. He would be in the unemployment line right now if I ran the Cardinals. Because I think you're trying to send an organizational message to everybody that if you put the bird on your head, you put on this uniform, you come here and you play for us, you play the right way, and that's the only thing that's acceptable. I'm trying to think of what Vince Lombardi or Tom Landry or a guy like that would have done in his era if he saw one of his players do something like that.
So, couple things here, Ricky. Demercado said it was a mistake. Bullshit. It was not a mistake. It was a choice. And like you said, he was trying to look cool. That's every guy that does that. They're trying to look cool. Like, hey, look at me. It's almost like the equivalent to a mic drop. And it infuriates me. I was in Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake 10 years ago. Oregon was heavily favored, and Utah was up 7, threw a pass to Kalen Clay, who played in the NFL for a little bit, and right in front of me, Ricky, he did the same thing. He dropped the ball before he got into the end zone, and a Oregon player picked it up, took it the length of the field for a touchdown. Now it's 7-7. Oregon went on to beat Utah. The whole stadium became a morgue. It was unbelievable how it changed everything. And I think that players that do that should not be cut. I think they should first be told to get off the field, put your stuff on, and get out of here, and then get cut. And I also think that's the same thing, Ricky, infuriates me when a player, since we're on this topic of cutting players for being stupid, you've got to learn to control your emotions. If a player throws a punch, does something where they get a personal foul, cut them. I'm not talking about a personal foul because you hit the quarterback late or because you lit somebody up going across the middle. Not that kind of personal foul. But when you punch somebody or you headbutt somebody or you spit on somebody, you are cut.
Well,
you are killing your team, man. You're killing your team.
Hang on a second. We can cut Emari Demercado, but we can't cut Jalen Carter.
Well, we're
talking.
There's
a privilege that goes with being incredible, right?
Well,
now
I'm just saying.
Now here's
I know what you're saying.
And I agree with you.
know what you're saying. I'm just a coach at some point has to make an example of a player because there's too many times in sporting events where I see a selfish player make an emotional decision, and that could be dropping the ball or throwing a punch, and it kills the team. They lose because of it. It's infuriating, man. It's absolutely infuriating.
This is an easy guy to make an example of, okay? This is an easy guy to make an example of, and I don't care what the Bears think of Tyreek Stevenson. His ass should have been cut last year. When you do something that cost your team the game, and it clearly in both cases, in my opinion, especially in this one, there's no way in my mind the Titans have a fucking chance in hell of coming back from 22 down
no
with
chance.
12 minutes left, as
None.
sorry as they are.
None.
No fucking chance. And guess what? Hail Marys are not very successful in the NFL. So if you're not like being a fucking goofus, arguing with people in the crowd, or really taunting people in the crowd. He wasn't arguing. It's
emotional weakness.
Commanders fans. Yes. And then you turn around and you're just like, oh shit, the play's already started. And you run over and you bat the ball in the air and they catch it. And then your season just goes completely to hell after that. Fuck you. Get out of here. Yeah, unless you're a generational talent, unless you're a fucking Pro Bowler, you got to fucking go. And if you are a Pro Bowler, I'm going to be calling teams up and I'm going to be seeing what they're willing to give me for you. Because I'll trade you if you're at a certain, but either way, you don't need to be a part of the organization. You know? And the thing of it is you're fucking with other people's job security.
Yes, you are.
You're fucking with your coach's job security. How pissed are you if you're Jonathan Gannon, or if you're just the fucking defensive backs coach, or you're the fucking special
video
teams
coordinator
guy or whatever? Video coordinator. That's right. All the way down the line, people who are depending upon the success of the Arizona Cardinals, partly for their paycheck, their health insurance, their job security, and then you're going to go out there and because you're Mr. fucking cool, you're going to let the ball go before you can be bothered to go into the end zone. It's not just about him. It's about everybody that he let down. And it's a bigger deal, the people in that building out there in Phoenix that he let down rather than the fans. He let the fans down, yes, but he let down people who have a professional job to do, and the success of the Arizona Cardinals contributes to whether or not that job is going to continue and be a safe job for them. So there's that, Ronnie. Let me switch gears here. Let's continue to talk about football, but let's talk about college football a little bit. Hilltoppers won. We had Trey Wallace on the program last week. We're talking about
how great was that? How great did it feel to watch a makeable field goal not go through the uprights to win? Like, that feels so good.
Yeah. So that's always a nice thing. The Hilltoppers are 5-1 now. 5 wins on October the 6th. That's, I don't know. We're in pretty rarefied air here. We may be at the AutoZone Bowl presented by Totino's Party Pizzas this year against some team from the MAC. So I'm excited about that, as you can imagine, Ron. And then an upset, a big upset, in fact, that occurred. Almost hate to go there, but
there's an upset this weekend.
Jared's Nittany Lions. There was one that got some notice and attention, as it turns out, Ronnie. And, all right. Now, before we bring Jared in, I want you to give me your take on this.
Okay.
Penn State coming off of a, close loss to Oregon. As we know, during the James Franklin era, they've had trouble getting over the hump in games against top teams. You want to talk about a letdown? They go play UCLA. They lose 45-37 after getting themselves into a huge hole. What do you make of this? And what does it mean, if anything, for James Franklin's future in Happy Valley?
If you are a team that is either thought of as highly as Penn State, or you think yourself as highly as Penn State thinks of themselves, it's absolutely unacceptable. It's unacceptable for that to happen. Can you have a letdown because it was such an emotional game against Oregon, and then you got to fly across country and you got to play, way out of your time zone? Can you have a hangover? Yeah, you can. But to lose to UCLA, who might be the worst team in Power, well, I guess it's not Power 5 anymore, but Power 4 conference, they're atrocious. They're playing with their coaches just got fired. The coordinator is brand new. It's unacceptable. I hope James Franklin stays at Penn State forever as an Ohio State fan, because it just makes it easier for us. But But as I was talking to Jared earlier in the show, and I think he'll probably talk about this, or before the show started, is Tennessee got rid of Philip Fulmer in 2007, 2008, something like that, because they weren't happy with what was going on with Tennessee, and they languished for years. I mean, it's just been recently that they've gotten back to being, a top football program. Florida's doing it. I mean, Florida was elite in the early 2000s. And then Urban left, and then they just keep firing coaches and they just can't get it right. So,
well, we were talking about their coach being fired a couple of weeks ago. They just beat Texas.
Well, Texas isn't really any good. So that's that. I don't think that's, well, they're really not. Texas actually
Texas
not
or
very
Arch
good.
Manning.
Yeah, they're
well,
so our NFL team still tanking for Arch. I think that ship has sailed. But let's hear what Jared has to say about Penn State.
All right, we now welcome to the show senior disappointing upset loss correspondent P.A. Jarrett. How are you holding up, buddy?
I'm good. If anything, the Oregon loss broke me enough that at this point it's whatever. Not that I don't care, but it was kind of more just like I don't feel anything anymore. Here's what I have to say. I love James Franklin. You know, he's been the coach here for 13 years or so. I think he's awesome. He's brought, a lot of great memories with this football team. And it's hard to do what he does, to recruit guys that well, to get a team to 10-2 every year is really great. And the great thing with James Franklin has always been that, yeah, maybe he can't win the big game, although I will argue he's won some. Maybe he can't win the big game, but he always wins the games that you should win. And that's important because not a lot of teams do that. Well, we've now experienced a year where that isn't the case. And this is also the year that we were probably supposed to be the best that we ever were and the best out there. Look, I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great coach. I think that he does things that a lot of people couldn't. And I think he'll always be remembered good for that. But I think it's time. I think that, 12, 13 years into this, and we don't have enough to show for it, I think, for 12 to 13 years. I always defended him after the Oregon one. That was the one that we should have won, the big one that we should have won. Then the team's not ready. They go out and lose to a team that, I mean, us three put on jerseys and we'd have a decent shot against them. Like they're horrible. And it's an inexcusable loss. I love the guy, but it's done. I think it's time for a change. Sometimes that's just how it happens. It's a bitter ending to a really, really great run, I will say. But yeah, it's an inexcusable loss, and at this point now, like they have to pretty much win out if they want any chance at the playoffs. But they have to go into Ohio State. We know what this team is at this point. They're just not good, and it's disappointing because again, we thought that this was probably going to be the best year for our program, or at least in a really long time. And it's disappointing, but I think there's expectations that come with a roster that's supposed to be this good, and I think it's time for them.
All right, Jared, we appreciate your thoughts on the matter. The only alternative that I might suggest is keep James Franklin and see if you can schedule 3 games with North Carolina next year. That might be helpful.
There you go.
Because good Lord, is it getting ugly in Chapel Hill, man. It's almost like Belichick is trying to write the most fucked up, saddest, last possible chapter to his career. It's like I never thought that I would have any sort of image of Bill Belichick as sort of this like doddering old guy who's probably being manipulated and used by a young woman while he's just getting boat raced by every team that he plays while he's coaching North Carolina. And Mac Brown is getting in on the fun a little bit here, at least if you want to read between the lines. This certainly reads like it could be a shot coming from the former Texas coach. So happy for Drake May, that is, of course. Fun to watch him win last night in Buffalo like he did so many times at UNC. Love you and appreciate you, my friend. Keep it rolling. Hey, remember when North Carolina won some games? back before they had the greatest coach in NFL history? Is this chapter so fucking bad that we're going to have to rewrite where we rank Belichick?
Is he really the
time?
best? Is he really the best ever? Or is he really the coach that took advantage of having Tom Brady as his quarterback? Because the second Tom Brady left, the Patriots sucked. And now North Carolina sucks. I know it probably sounds like an outlandish hot take what I'm saying right now, but what has he done without Tom Brady?
Listen, his coaching record in the NFL is sub 500.
Before Tom Brady. Before Tom Brady, what did he do?
And after.
Yeah.
I'm saying he never did anything as a head coach. You know, it was a very, very
really the best. Is he really the best coach in NFL history?
Now, look, I'm not saying that he's not a great coach. He's a historically great coach. You look at what he did. You look at what he did with the Giants defense. And I'm not suggesting that you said it wrong. I know you didn't say that. But you look at what he did there. You look at what he's done. I think he's clearly on the short list of greatest coaches in NFL history. But to be the GOAT, and I've called him the GOAT numerous times. And I kind of think, I don't know. I don't want to judge Willie Mays on being 42 years old and stumbling around in the outfield during the 1973 World Series. I'm not going to judge vintage Willie Mays on that. But in the case of Belichick, I mean, I don't know. Has the game passed him by? Is his ego just so great that the reality of the challenges of doing what he's doing, he just did not look at it for what it was because he thought that he would just show up and he would install a program and somehow it would be effective because that's just what he does? I don't know. Listen, for years they said, is it Brady or is it Belichick? What happened, Ron? Tom Brady went on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, won a Super Bowl. Bill Belichick, as you said, scuffled to the point that they wanted him out of there just for ineffectiveness at the end. And now he goes to North Carolina, and frankly, he's getting embarrassed currently. So it's not a good look whatsoever look, I mean, again, I want to be fair, but having said this, all right, one more football thing here real quickly, Ryan. You sent this yesterday. You said, we got a snow game in Wyoming. And so
turns out it was a hail game.
Beautiful.
Turns out that it was a hail game is what the meteorologists were saying. Yeah.
Even better as far as I'm concerned. Look at that. Double rainbow, hail, snow.
Ugh.
It does the heart good.
Wyoming.
That's the best rainbow since God blessed everybody after the Great Flood, Ron. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. I mean, that is
as long as we have this show, we are going to talk about and just gush about snow games like it's the first time we ever saw a snow game. But every snow game
every time
is a new just wonderment to me.
Every time I pull my glasses down and in slow motion, I eye it up like I'm Chris Farley in that old commercial from Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Ronnie, this episode is brought to you today by Prize Picks. You know, you and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right and even better to make money when you're right. You know, Prize Picks is fun and simple to play. Millions of people are playing because it's the best place to win cash while you're watching sports. So join all the other folks that are having fun and sign up today. And best of all, when you use my code Ricky, you're going to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Yeah, that's right. I love these types of offers. $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And I don't know if this is right or not, Ron. Take a look at this item that's on the menu at T-Mobile Park in Seattle right now. If you go to a Mariners game, if anybody happens to be out there, I don't know if the great Rex Crum partook of this or not. I'm going to have to ask him. I'm going to guess that Rex probably passed on these, as sumptuous as they look. But you can get yourself for $30, Ron, a souvenir helmet of crab claws.
Interested.
Are you into that?
Absolutely interested.
Is it good? I mean, you know.
I love crab. I love crab, and
Yeah.
especially crab from the claw. So
listen, I'm willing to do it. I had a crab sandwich the last time I was in Seattle for a game, and I ate grasshoppers too. So
that sounds delicious.
You know that I'll go for it. I'm pulling grasshopper legs out of my teeth when I'm at a Seattle game, so I can definitely do this. By the way, somebody made a comment in the comments, because I guess that's where the comments go, Ron. They said that they were up for the They said that they were up for the 9 claws, 9 white claws challenge. The 999. How about that? One of these
like $30 is a really good price for that. Like that seems like
it's not bad.
They could charge way more than $30 for that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we could charge way more than we do for this, Ron, but we give it to the people 5 days a week for free every day. Should be on a subscription basis, quite frankly, but because I love you, sweet bastards, so much, you're going to get it right now, because it's time for America's Poll of the Day, and let's go to it now at Super 70 Sports on X, where the eagle flies higher than you have to be to want to eat a helmet full of crab, whatever they are, crab claws. Now, actually, that's a pretty good idea whether you're high or not. All right, Ronnie, this one is courtesy half from you and half from me, and we shall begin. The first option on the menu today is pickleball. It's probably, I don't know, arguably the most popular emerging sport in America over the last several years. I see pickleball games popping up everywhere nowadays. I've never done it myself. Second, we've got funnel cake, that favorite of state fairs and carnivals everywhere. Matt Damon is the third option. And lastly, we got the beat. Of course, that the early 80s top 40 radio hit by the Go-Go's. Ron, break it down for me as only you can.
Pickleball, absolutely fast-growing sport. I quit playing because I'm afraid of getting hurt with everything I do now, because my brain still thinks I'm 25 or 22 or whatever it is. And so I'll see a ball and I think that I can get it, and I'll try to lunge for it, and I'm going to snap my Achilles. But I have played and I do enjoy it. It's kind of like table tennis with you standing on the table. It's definitely fun. The reason funnel cake is on here, Ricky, is Lori and I, this is so funny to say out loud. Yesterday, it was a nice day, and the football games weren't too intriguing to me. And I'd been in the house all day on Saturday watching college football. So we drove about an hour to a town called Centerville, Tennessee. So you ready for this? We went to the National Banana Pudding Festival. And when we were there was a food truck kind of thing, and they had funnel cake. And Lori and I haven't had funnel cake forever, and we just looked at each other and like, "You want to?" I'm like, "Why not?" Dude, it's so good. Funnel cakes are so good. I mean, the powdered sugar on top of the oily dough. Oh, it's so good, Ricky. Oh, it's so good.
But when you eat a little too much, oh boy, do you hate yourself. It's one of those where like everything is great until you hit the tipping point, and then when you go past the tipping point, you're like, oh my God, I can feel my arteries hardening.
Do you see what I'm doing right now? I'm patting myself on the back.
Self-control.
Dude, we didn't finish it. I just went, I'm done. I pushed it away. She had a couple more, and we threw probably a third of it away. Now,
impressive discipline.
To be fair, we had already shared about 20 ounces of banana pudding. So it was a little extreme. Matt Damon, I mean, my goodness, has that dude been in some good movies? My favorites: Rounders, Stillwater. Did you ever see Stillwater? Stillwater's good. And
never seen it.
Oh, it's really good. You should watch it sometime. And I like the Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, whatever. So Matt Damon, great. We Got the Beat. I would never choose to listen to that show, like go on or that song, go on Spotify and listen to it. But my God, is that a good song? I will listen to that thing happily if it ever comes on. So I'm going Funnel Cake.
All right, funnel cake it is for you. Let's see here. Pickleball intrigues me. I'd like to play pickleball sometime just to see what it's like because I love table tennis. I enjoy playing tennis. I'm good with both of those things. Funnel cake is a little too good. I've definitely put away my share of funnel cake while enjoying various public events. Matt Damon, I like Matt Damon, but there's not a lot of Matt Damon movies that I can rattle off that are meaningful to me. I agree.
Have you seen Rounders?
Good.
Yeah.
I've seen Rounders. That's probably my favorite. Good Will Hunting is a pretty good movie. Louis C.K.'s stand-up routine on that is hilarious, by the way. I would encourage anybody to find go to YouTube and look up the Louis C.K. on Good Will Hunting.
While you're subscribing to the Ricky Cobb Show.
Worth your time. And subscribe to the Ricky Cobb Show while you're over there, for heaven's sake. And then We Got the Beat is, I always like that song. The Caverna Colonel Band used to play We Got the Beat. So it takes me back to going to basketball games when I was in high school. We went 0-25 my junior year, and my friend Rob, as they would play We Got the Beat, he would sing We Got Beat, which is what basically happened to us every single time that we tipped off. So I don't know, producer Tim, you want to get in here and give us your 2 cents on this one before we roll it?
Yeah, funnel cake. I'm with Ron. Smarter health choices have led me astray from funnel cake. Pickleball doesn't appeal to me as much as I've seen some of the viral clips and a lot of people.
All right. So that being said, I don't know. Tim may be taking his shit, Ron. I don't know what's going on here. Are you coming to us?
Sounds like he's in a soup can. Are you coming to us
from the lavatory? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Tim manning the Apollo 19 mission that NASA just launched today.
Better.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to vote for Matt Damon.
One small step for funnel cake, one giant leap for diabetes.
No funnel cake.
Let's
no
go ahead.
Cake.
Now he sounds good.
Oh, now he's back. Okay. He's come back into the Earth's atmosphere.
I was deferring to Matt Damon. I'm told that you guys think that Jared looks like Matt Damon, or your girlfriend thinks he looks like Matt Damon. So I really thought he was going to be doing the vote here. Funnel cake, no mas. Pickleball, doesn't appeal to me. Although I need to try it one more time. We Got the Beat, Ron. I'm with you all day, every day. Great song, simple but yet complex. So, but I'm going to go Matt Damon because I thought the Unabomber was going to join us for this vote.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and vote for We Got the Beat. So let's go ahead and fire it. Pickleball, if I play it once or twice, I could see myself really liking it. But I'm going to go with We Got the Beat with apologies to Funnel Cake and to Matt Damon, who I have nothing against. I enjoy his work. But what really matters is what the public says.
Fried dough, baby. Fried dough.
Fried dough is undefeated, is basically what it boils down to, gentlemen. Second place performance for We Got the Beat. Pretty respectable. Matt Damon does pretty well as well. And pickleball, there may be a lot of people like me who just never have played and find the people that are playing to look like they're a little bit annoying, Ron. It's just something about playing pickleball just kind of makes you look like an asshole. You may be a great person, but it's just one of those activities. It's hard not to look like an asshole when you're doing it, especially when they show up at the tennis court. My daughters and I play tennis, and we've had on a couple of occasions, we've been unable to get a court because people are playing pickleball on it.
Would you be happier if they were playing tennis?
Excuse me.
Would you be happier if they were playing tennis?
Yes.
So So
They're
it
tennis
bothers you that
courts.
they're playing pickleball, but if they're playing tennis, you'd be like, I'll
On
just wait
tennis
my
courts.
turn.
If they're playing it on tennis courts, I am.
That's
Of
so
course I
awful.
am. I
It's
take
so
that
awful.
take that shit personally. All right, Ron, here's one for you. You and I have talked about how you had never played Duck Hunt. Nintendo Duck Hunt was
Whoa.
you
Never
not
heard
only
of
never
it.
played
I had
it.
never heard of it.
You didn't know what it was.
Correct.
Right. All right. Which believe me, that's a blind spot that I'm not sure how you made it to this age without hearing of it, but we've all got them. That just happened to be one of yours. Well, check this out, Ron. A duck hunter had to be rescued after getting caught in, are you ready for this? This is everything we worried about in the 70s. This guy got caught in quicksand. That's right. All those worries that I had when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, they have all been validated now, 50 years later, as this poor son of a bitch had to call for help and get pulled out of actual quicksand.
So you know what I heard about this? So they rescued him, and when they got to dry land, he actually slipped on a banana peel and cracked his head.
Yeah, there you go. That's tough. Somebody dropped a penny from 50 stories above him, and it went through the top of his cranium. It was another thing that happened to him on that day. These are all of the fears that we had. Take a look at this. I believe that this is accurate. Leading causes of death in the 70s, as explained by me at Super 70 Sports. Number 1, quicksand. Number 2, quicksand. Number 3, heart disease. Number 4, cancer. And coming in at number 5, also quicksand. So one person who is not laughing at any of this, no doubt, is the guy who just got pulled out of quicksand. He probably does not see the same humor in it that we do, or maybe he's some great son of a bitch and he actually does. Either way, all I can tell you is that it's time for us to take a short break right now, but when we come back, we've still got some goodies for you, including I'll be asking Ronnie the question that you guys all know I love to ask him around this time of the day, and it'll all happen straight ahead right after this, right here on The Ricky Cobb Show.
Football's finally back. So's the hard-hitting gridiron action on Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks and use code OUTKICK and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Well, there's the sequel that nobody asked for, but we just learned apparently we're getting it anyway. We talk about bad sequels. There's, Caddyshack 2 was a bad sequel. There are others. This one, the first one wasn't that fucking good. If we're going to be honest with you, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Do you remember that from the summer of 2010? Well, 15 years later, apparently LeBron is under the mistaken impression that we give a fuck what his decision is going to be. Ron, what decision is this? Is this whether he's going to keep playing? Is this whether he's going to stay with the Lakers? What's happening here?
Unless he's going to tell everybody that he's retiring, he's just an attention whore. Like if he's like, I'm going to play in another year, okay. Unless he says he's retiring, he is the biggest attention whore in the history of the world. But he already is an attention whore anyway. So.
LeBron, what is the decision? Well, I went with a bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles this morning, 2 hash browns, and a cup of coffee. There you have. Yeah, LeBron just apparently thinks he hasn't been in the news enough lately, unless he drops a bombshell. If he really drops a bombshell, then I'll take it back. But it had better deliver. If you're going to have a television special and you're going to advertise it as being some major thing, it needs to deliver. I don't know. I hope he doesn't retire. I will say that. He's still a damn good player. So I would be interested in seeing what he and Luka can do, especially now that we've seen what kind of shape Luka's in. He's in the best shape of his life.
Speaking of
So,
shape, speaking of shape, have you seen the pictures of Zion Williamson?
I have.
Dude.
What the hell?
Dude.
We now look
We
at
at
you
some point
bringing
gotta
up
find a
shit
picture.
that we don't have an
I know.
element for.
I wasn't
but
planning on
yes.
talking about it until you said Luka being in shape. Like,
It's crazy. When I first saw it, I didn't
doesn't
even
look
believe
like
it was
him.
him.
Luka still looks like
I'm
Luka.
like worried about him.
Yeah, it don't. Luka looks
Is
like
he
Luka.
okay?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, it's for all those years. I mean, he gives every fat motherfucker hope, doesn't he? Because it's like for all those years, this guy couldn't even be bothered to like even get in shape.
But he could
Now,
jump
all
out of the
a sudden,
gym
he
at
looks like he
300
lost
pounds.
80 pounds.
He could jump out of the gym at 300.
weird.
What's he going to do now?
Skinny Zion is weird to me.
So weird.
I don't know. Let's see how it goes. What if it turns out he was better fat? That's possible. You know what? People are prejudiced against the fat guys. Maybe would skinny John Kruk have hit 300? I don't know. Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. All right.
John Kruk's watching right now. He goes, "Why do you have to bring me into this? What the hell?"
John Kruk's, he's a proud fat guy. I love me some John Kruk. All right, so Ron, here's a good one. This is a lot of fun. Buffalo Bills fan, all right, seated. He's got front row tickets down at the edge of the end zone. Josh Allen rolls out. He's got nothing. He throws it away, and this fan catches Josh Allen's pass on the fly. And well, let's listen to Mike Tirico.
Catch there. He's gone. Milano's going to go. He's in row 10. He's in row 15.
There.
He might get a beer.
Yeah.
Milano, where are you going, man? It's your moment. Milano, row 40, led by Allen. He's going to take it the distance. Maybe it wasn't his seat. Maybe he doesn't want to be on TV. He's gone.
Look at Tirico acting like he doesn't know what the fucking guy's doing. He's getting out of there with that football. And we just had a little huddle up during the break. You, myself, and Tim trying to figure out what the protocol is if you get your hands on a football at an NFL game. And we kind of had some conflicting news. According to ChatGPT, the NFL views all of the balls as their property, regardless of whether they go into the stands or not. So the official word of the NFL is that belongs to us. And it seems like this fan knew that, which was why he decided that he was going to stick it under his jersey and escape from the stadium as quickly as he could with what's going to be the best souvenir that he'll ever obtain at a game in his entire life. If he lives 10 lifetimes, you're not going to come up with something like that. So I don't know. It appears that the NFL, will let fans keep balls sometimes, but in other scenarios, they ask for it back. So it's kind of murky. If it was a historic ball, if somebody scored their, 100th career touchdown and spiked the ball and it went into the stands and a fan got it, I can guarantee you the NFL's coming for it. This guy was taking no chances, however, Ronnie.
Yeah, it's just interesting because, in baseball, they're yours, right? Unless some crazy, short, gray-haired woman yells at
Karen
you.
shows up.
I just say,
wouldn't it have been amazing if Philly's Karen had been there and she just stopped him when he got up to the
just horse collared him going
when he got up to the concourse.
Horse collared
and
him.
said, "Wait a minute, wait a minute! I saw Josh Allen throw that pass from my seat, and I wanted it." That's pretty baller, though, man. That's about the best thing I've seen since the guy in Chicago 30 years ago caught the extra point.
Yeah, coming out of the stands. But think about how much money that dude paid for those seats. And he's like, the game was close. He's like, nope, I want this ball more than I want to be here for whatever happens at the end of the game. So
good decision. Good decision.
Yeah, it was.
I don't
It ended
blame
up
him.
being a
He
good
was
decision.
thinking quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't just stand there and wait for him to come and take. I bet you the chances are over 50-50. Tim, let's get Tim's projection. If the guy had held on to the ball, what percentage chance out of 100 do you think that NFL personnel would have come over and asked him to give it back? I say at least 80% chance.
Oh, I say 10.
Yeah, no, you definitely
I say 10.
They come up with the yellow coats and they start doing this to have you give the ball back, and then an usher can come up. Yeah, sorry, I was a little late unmuting there. It's fascinating. It's stadium by stadium. If the player intentionally gives it, there are some scenarios where the player actually pays for the ball, believe it or not. Reading some cases of that where when they give the ball away, that's $150 a ball.
Yeah, there used to be a fine if you threw the ball. I remember it used to be, how players would just launch the ball up into the stands.
Yeah.
They used to say it was like a $250 fine to do that.
Yeah, I think it's the place and time and who it is, and I think that fan completely knew that. Obviously, he bolted. I'm curious if he surfaces with the ball and does he sell it? Does he keep it? What happens? But yeah, Ron, it's not. It's interesting. It's not as clear cut, right? And you think about it, it's so rare that it happens. I definitely know kicks they come after because the kicking ball is even more unique.
Well, that's
and more
because
specific.
it's a special ball. But
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of those things, Tim, where I think we talked about this last week on the show about something else, but sometimes rules exist so you can enforce them if you want to. And so this is probably one of those things. It's probably case by case basis, and they decide whether or not they want to enforce it or not.
Yeah.
And each team preps their own balls. Every quarterback has his own way that he likes each team has within the rules, they get to prep the balls the way the quarterback likes them. So,
like Tom Brady.
If you got a ball that Josh Allen is comfortable throwing, well, All right, Ron, we're down to it. This was a WTF on its own, but let me go ahead and make it official by saying, what the fuck, Ron?
So early last month in Blackburn, England, a girl named Morgan Isherwood woke up and the right side of her stomach was just killing her. And then she started throwing up blood. So she calls the ambulance. They get her to a healthcare facility, and they are just thinking, 100% this is appendicitis. But before they do anything, they always do a CT scan and ultrasound to rule out pregnancy. Guess what, Ricky? She's pregnant.
She was pregnant. Yeah.
She was pregnant. So they put her in an ambulance, take her to another hospital that's got more childbirth kind of facility. And she doesn't make it to the hospital. She actually gives birth in the ambulance. And she said, I don't know how this happened. I didn't have a bump. I had no symptoms. We hear these stories all the time. How do these women not know they're pregnant? Like, I've obviously,
all right.
I don't understand.
Does that look like a relatively normal sized baby to you? It's not in an incubator.
No, but it was a bit premature. It ended up being a bit premature, but it came home after 2 weeks.
Okay. Do you know how much it weighed?
No, I don't.
So she had no idea.
She claims, and she's not. Now, sometimes you hear this about big girls, right? Girls that are really big and they've got big stomachs, and they're like, well, I'm trying to be, you want me to say fat girls? Trying to be.
I was like, well, normally see here, what you got here is a fat lady problem.
Listen,
ordinarily.
I am not known.
Ordinarily, it's your big bulbous women that don't know that they're pregnant. But in this case, we got a cute little petite thing here. She didn't know she was pregnant either. It's weird. I had a student once, Ron. I had a student once who was suddenly 10, 12 weeks into the semester, she stopped coming to class. And
right.
She had been a very engaged, good student. And so, when you lose a student during the semester just without them telling you anything, and it was a student that you expected to pass the class with flying colors, that was always kind of like, well, that's odd. I wonder what happened. And I had somebody come up and tell me after she had been out of class for a couple of weeks that she found out that she was like 6 months pregnant. 6 or 7 months pregnant. But she was a healthy girl, Ron. she was a big lady. Unlike this little thing.
I am not known for my decorum, Ricky, and I was trying to use decorum, and you just shit all over me trying to use decorum.
It's normally you big fat broads that have this problem. You see some bitch that's built like a house, 8 months pregnant, didn't even fucking know it. Go figure. All right. What the fuck else is going on, Ron?
All right. I just desperately want you to get a Guinness World Record. And I think I have found something that you can do. It's just a function of time. This is just a function of time. Like, you don't have to do anything. You just have to wait it out. So this dude, Rudolph Martino, lives in Birmingham, Alabama. He just got the title for the living person with the longest natural beard. It's 3 feet 6 inches.
Wow.
And so it's just a time situation for you, Ricky.
Beard. Well, I sort of tried to do that during COVID, Ron. It was a lot longer than it is now by the end of COVID.
Look at this one with it hanging down.
Look at that. Look at that. It's almost dragging the ground.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough. Like, to just, what does it look like when he doesn't have it in a?
Yeah, I don't know, but so
ponytail?
he said he washes it once every 2 weeks, and it takes 2 to 3 days to dry. Like, that's crazy. But anyway, this is just a time situation. It's just a time situation, Ricky.
Yeah.
If you just wait it out, this could be your title.
Oh my God, Ron. I think I fucked my voice up doing my voices earlier. My throat. I'm having more throat problems than Stevie Wonder had at the United Center when Leslie and I saw him there last year. He spent the entire
I thought you were going to say Debbie from Debbie Does Dallas.
Complaining about his throat. Well, now let's go to poll replies, shall we? Debbie was replying to a few polls, if I recall correctly. Here's what we have today. It's funnel cake advancing to championship Friday. Ronnie has certainly made a compelling case for why the public made a wise decision there. My choice of We Got the Beat, finishing a respectable second. But much like the 1987-88 Caverna Colonels basketball team, We Got the Beat got beat today. But let's see what people are saying about it. That's always the fun part. Gary Thorstead says that one was undoubtedly a piece of cake. I see what you did there, Gary. Okay, Matt says Matt Damon. Matt Damon agrees. Is that Matt Damon or is that Jared responding to somebody saying James Franklin just got fired? There it is. What else is going on here? What are the people saying? Mark Clark is a funnel cake enthusiast. You've had worse things in your mouth, says Mark Clark. Ain't that the truth? Rusty Pop says, was this a championship round? 4 great choices. Well, thank you, Rusty Pop. And the Moops says, we got the beat. Cute girls with an early 80s cultural moment. I'm down. I was down too. Belinda Carlisle and is it Jane Whedon? Is that the name of the
I only know
guitar
Belinda
player there on the far right?
I only know Belinda.
Yeah. They had a couple in that band that looked like they were just going to chain. I think the one on the far left, she just always looked like somebody's chain smoking aunt. I think she was a guitar player. The drummer, I think maybe is,
hey, do
I'm
you
not
know
sure which one's the drummer?
Do you know why the Go-Go's Do you know why the Go-Go's couldn't get pregnant? Do you know why the Go-Go's couldn't get pregnant?
Why not?
Their lips were sealed.
Oh, I think I do. Their lips were. Well, on that note, Ron, we're excited to announce the return of the most patriotic awards show in television. That's right. The Fox Nation Patriot Awards is back, and it's better than ever. Hosted by Sean Hannity on Thursday, November the 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Live from the Tills Center in New York. Tickets on sale now. Just head over to foxnation.com/Patriot Awards, and you will have an opportunity to procure your own tickets to this event on November 6th. Last year was a record-setting show. I think Jimmy Fallon did some really funny stuff last year. I don't know if Jimmy's going to be there again or not, but he just might be. This year promises to be even bigger with surprise guests, new awards, and even a special honor for the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. Get your tickets now at foxnation.com/Patriot Awards. And with that, I will bid you a good afternoon and good evening, you sweet bastards. And I look forward to seeing you here again tomorrow when we will tee it high and let it fly with another episode of The Ricky Cobb Show.